Hello and welcome to Story Time for July 20th, 2020. Our theme this week is camping, and our literacy tip is that stories don't always have to be from a picture book. You can tell stories you remember from when you were a child, or you can make up your own story. We're going to start with our opening rhyme, bread and butter. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as loud as we can. Hello! Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quiet as we can. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as high as we can. Hello! Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as low as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as fast as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as slow as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as silly as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as nice as we can. Hello. Now we'll sing The More We Read Together. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we read together, the happier we'll be. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. Read big books and small books, read short books and tall books. The more we read together, the happier we'll be. Now it's our finger play, roly-poly. Roly-poly, roly-poly, up, 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 up. Roly, roly-poly, roly, roly-poly, down, 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 down. Roly-poly, roly-poly, out, 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 out. Roly, roly-poly, roly, roly-poly, in, 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 in. Roly-poly, roly-poly, fast, 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 fast. Roly, roly-poly, roly, roly-poly, slow, slow, slow. Our first story today is Upside Down, camping. It's called camping, it's not called Upside Down. And it's by Nancy Hundal. Holidays, lolling days. Mum wishes for museums and art galleries. Dad talks about fancy hotels. My sister Lori wants malls. Duncan dreams of arcade. And I long for Disneyland. But money is scarce, so we'll try camping. No paintings or fluffy towels, no clothes racks, jackpots, or mouse ears. Camping, mosquito bites, burnt food, camping. Car packed, car stacked, freeway entrance speed up. Exit right to highway, slower. Merge left, gravel, laneway, crawling. Tent up, cloth spread, poles tensed, home raised. My sleeping bag, pillow, and teddy. A playhouse for day, a flimsy fortress at night. Yawning space beyond. No houses, no street lamps, nobody. Tree to tree we string ropes for beach towels, dish towels, and for garbagey treats slung out of raccoon reach. Chairs out, kindling in, tent flap down, feet up. Campfire, first night. Bits of wood, a few pine cones, a couple of sticks. My stomach shivers thinking of camp food. Ugh. But chicken stew and hot creamy marshmallows. The black charry bits scabbed to stick, stuck to fingers, burnt. Camp food. That night I peeped from the tent. Black. So black. Even with eyes adjusted, the black tucks so carefully around woodpile, between stumps, under trees. Only memory rumples the blanket of darkness, finds their places for me. Hello? Anybody home? For I am in their home now, camped out on in a deer's living room, swimming in a raccoon's kitchen. Pull head back, burrow into sleeping bag, listen to the black, gaze at the silence. Sleep. In the morning, I try a sip of coffee, boiled over the fire, roll its hard, hot taste over my tongue. But Mum and Dad say, and grip their mugs like treasures. Smoke from the fire teases me, tracks me, in a chair, on the ground, by the tent. Nose poked, eyes pierced, we play tag, and it wins. We work. Chop wood gathered from a pile at camp center. The wood pile spills with 1,000 different shapes, a face, a frog, a flute. Hard to gather when there's so much to see. Then water from the pump. I push with my whole body, hang over the handle, but still it only jerks halfway down. When Dad pushes, the creaking metal finally says yes, bringing up its chilling water. Such hard-won water tastes good. And dishes. Hot water suds in a bucket, sometimes late at night, by touch, not sight. The quiet, so quiet, except for cars crawling by, gravel crunching, looking for the best spot. The slow building toot of a train which blows only at night. Or do we only hear it at night? And the swoosh of cars on the highway, too busy to stop. These sounds are distant, unimportant. Even the call of the mall to Lori is faint. Duncan's arcade symphony ceases to jingle, and I forget about the mouse ears listening for me. Just a voice call, door slam, chipmunk chatter, wood axed. And the quiet, so quiet. We swim in the lake, dock bobbing with the sway of water. We are used to the pool, not this green, cool fish school. Plant tendrils catch in our hair, fine mud webs our toes. We gasp for air, horrified, delighted. Hot days, warm evenings, chilled nights, cool mornings. The breeze fluttering the leaves in 1,000 tiny highs lift my hair. The snow still sticks to mountain peaks and waits for winter, with green violet trees spread below. We feel the sun's journey across our campsite. It taps our tent in the morning, pours like syrup warm and thick at noon. By evening, gentle fingertips of light massage the trees goodnight. Doing nothing. Mom reads. Dad snoozes. Lori stares at the sky. Duncan watches ants on parade. I stare down a mosquito. Doing nothing. It's good. Evenings round the fire wrapped my ears in a blanket. Bug guard, chill guard, both try to sneak past to my skin. Hot chocolate warms lips, throat, stomach, hands. We sing old songs, new songs, camp songs, gramp songs. More chips, more sun, less TV, less watching. More time, less o'clock. I find a friend at a nearby site. We run up and down camp lanes, no traffic to fear. Watch an eagle sail slowly on currents of air that touch our freckled cheeks below. Climb trees, play cards, stand still as a deer when that deer sees us. Hike through an old forest. Drive for ice cream to a new town. Stores, money. Let's go back to camp. And at night, the tall trees ringing the campsite point the way to the stars. The stars! Millions, bajillions, quadrillions, stream from one end of the sky to the other. Street lamps for the earth. And then the holidays are over. No museum, no hotel, no mall, no arcade, no Disneyland. But now we are campers, and we'll be back to stroll and sing and scavenge, do nothing, and soon. That is our story, Camping. And now we're going to go to the moon with our song Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. If you want to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. Upside down and all around, I'll take you where the stars are found. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! When you're camping, you always want to have nice sunny weather so that you can enjoy it more. And we'll sing a song about Mr. Sun. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, hiding behind a tree. These little children are asking you to please come out so we can play with you. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. In our first story, the narrator did not want to go camping at first. In our second story, this monster cannot wait. The monster cannot wait to go camping. I want to go camping now. It's by Bethany Barton. There's a subtitle here. It says, "This monster needs some patience," and that's crossed off. and it says cannot wait. Vacation is only a week away, and Stuart's parents are taking him camping for the very first time. Get excited! Trail map, firewood, thermos, sleeping bag, backpack, marshmallows, and flashlight. It's going to be so much fun. I absolutely cannot wait. But that's just the thing. Stuart has to wait 5 whole days. Aw, man, really? He tried to make time move faster. He updated clocks. According to this, I am very late to work. And negotiated with calendars. Stuart! He even built a very advanced time machine. To the future! But nothing seemed to work. Did you try to eat your spaceship, buddy? The mission was a failure, Dad. Stuart's mom wanted to help. Let's bake cookies, she suggested. It's a perfect example of how good things come to those who wait. But Stuart failed to see the value in waiting. Cookie dough! And as a matter of fact, it seemed like waiting was getting harder every minute. I'm never going camping, am I? Until Stuart had an idea. I'm a genius. You know, this reminds me of when I was about 9 years old. Honey, you're going to want to see this. If he could just make this book move faster, he'd be camping in no time. This book plus the end equals camping. I want to go camping now. I want to go camping now. When we catch him, he's going in timeout. Oh, big time. And that's just what happened. Aw, man, I want to be here forever. Timeout chair. So Stuart agreed to help put the book back together and do his best to wait patiently. Stuart would like to apologize for trying to rush to the end of the book. Sorry, folks. Apology accepted. Back at school, nothing seemed to interest Stuart, but he wasn't the only one. Science project says, what is the boiling point of slime? That's Phyllis, Stuart's best friend. She doesn't want vacation to come. Not at all. How is that even possible? I'm going to miss my friends and my teacher, Miss Rumble, and our class pet Snaps, and I just can't leave. What a weird reason to be upset, Stuart thought. All your friends are right here, and Miss Rumble too. even little snaps. You're so worried about next week that you're missing right now. Sounds like somebody I know. And of course, they were both right. But I totally said it first. You're such a nerd. Stuart decided to take his own advice. He made the most of his lurking lessons. Lurking 101, frightening felines, hide, surprise, scares. Excellent use of lurking techniques. And read up on forest frightening. It says here we can chase bears. Awesome, let's do it. And before he knew it, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It was time to go camping. And it was totally worth the wait. Roar! Ah! And we have a new song about weather today. It's actually called What's the Weather Like Today? What's the weather like today, like today, like today? What's the weather like today on this lovely day? Is there lots of sun today, sun today, sun today? Is there lots of sun today on this lovely day? Is there lots of rain today, rain today, rain today? Is there lots of rain today on this lovely day? Is there lots of snow today, snow today, snow today? Is there lots of snow today on this lovely day? Is there lots of fog today, fog today, fog today? Is there lots of fog today on this lovely day? Is there lots of sleet today, sleet today, sleet today? Is there lots of sleet today on this lovely day? Are there lots of clouds today, clouds today, clouds today? Are there lots of clouds today on this lovely day? Now we'll do our washing the hands song. Tops and bottoms, in between, in between. Don't forget your thumbs, don't forget your thumbs, and the nails, and the nails. Scrub all over, scrub all over. One more time, one more time. Rinse them in warm water, rinse them in warm water. Now they're clean, 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 clean. Now we're going to have another one of our guest storytellers. Today we have Patrick Carroll, and he is reading a story from his book that he wrote. And so this is Patrick Carroll reading his story.
Hello there. I'd like to read you a story about a little girl named Millie who spent a winter one time with her mother in a cabin on the shore of Moose Lake. When the aspen leaves have faded and the trees are little more than sticks knocking at the sky, that is when the families travel inland from the river to the small lakes at the foot of the mountain. With wagons loaded and dogs packed, the people follow the old roads, stopping only to hunt and to prepare the dry meat for winter. When they get to the lakes, everyone works to repair the cabins, and by the first snow, the men are off hunting. The women and children stay and care for the elders. Young Millie stayed with her mother in a cabin on the shore of Moose Lake. Not long after the men had gone, Millie went to the traps she had set in the woods behind her family's cabin. The trail was twisted. There were no signs around the first 3 traps. As she came to the 4th, she saw a gray blur flopping in the fresh snow. A whiskey jack. It rose with a flurry of wings and then flumped in a puff to desperately rise again. "Hey there, Whiskey Jack." "Hey there, Gray Jay. I won't hurt you," Millie whispered. "Let me hold you a minute. Are you hurt?" She reached out her hand, grasping the bird's body. Gently wrapping her fingers around the wings, her small hands worked to free the stuck leg from the metal clasp of the trap. She could feel the beating of the small heart as she raised her hand in the air. Releasing her grip, the bird rose like a puff of smoke, knocking loose a cluster of snow that drifted like ash to the ground. Millie reset and baited the trap with a small piece of fish and returned to the cabin. It was supper time. Her mother had fresh bannock and dry meat ready. "So, did you catch anything?" she asked. Millie wiped the grease from her lips and pushed her hair from her eyes. "I got a whiskey jack in my trap, but I let it go. I checked its leg and it wasn't broke, so I just let it go." Millie was going to tell her how the bird had lifted like smoke. "Ah, they're always stealing bait," her mother said. "You should have killed it." They finished eating in silence. That night a cold wind piled drifts of snow against the cabin. Millie's mother had to get up several times to keep the fire burning. For several days the storm blew. All that time Millie's mother had a fever that kept her in bed. Millie was busy looking after the cabin and tired from worrying. When the storm had passed, she went straight to the lake and broke the ice around the fish nets. She split and stacked wood for the fire and cleared the trail to the cache. She watched her mother's restless sleep and worried. What if the fever didn't go away? "My traps," she thought. "Maybe there's fresh meat." Snow had drifted over the first one. The second was empty, and the third. The 4th trap was also empty. The bait was gone. A whiskey jack sat in the branches above. His plump gray belly puffed over the black sticks of his feet. "You did this, didn't you?" shouted Millie. "You stole all my bait so no animals would go in my traps. Mother's right. I should not have let you go." She was crying now, exhausted from worrying about her mother and all the things she had to do, exhausted from being a little girl and having to take care of adult things. Where were her aunties, and when would her father come home? When had she ever felt so alone, so scared? She cried until she fell asleep. When Millie woke, the sun was setting. The forest around her was growing dark, and she was chilled. She did not mean to fall asleep. And what about the fire? And her mother? She rose quickly in a dust of snow and noticed several objects had been placed beside the trap. A sliver of wood, a piece of bone, a strand of red thread, and bits of plants. As she picked them up, there was a whistling sound and the rushing of wings that faded into the shadows of the woods. She ran down the trail as fast as she could to the cabin. Millie entered quickly. Her mother was still sleeping. The air was cold as death. Anxiously, Millie built a fire, then grabbed the sliver of wood and struck it like a match. It burst into a flame that roared into a blaze. She placed a bucket of snow on the stove and placed the piece of bone in it. Next, she laid the thread on the sheet that covered her sleeping mother and watched as it wove itself into a quilt. As the cabin warmed, the soup began to boil. Millie mixed the plants into medicine that she rubbed on her mother's damp skin, then crawled under the quilt and fell asleep holding her mother in her arms. She woke to a blue sky and the far-off sound of dogs barking. The cabin was warm with the doughy smell of bannock. Her mother was smiling at her from the table where she sat. Millie stretched and then snuggled back under the covers. "Oh, rise and shine now, my girl," said her mother. "Your father will be home soon. You can hear his dogs coming. I'm still weak, and we have many things to get ready." Later, when all the men had returned, the families gathered for a feast to say thanks for the moose that had been killed. The drums beat long into the night while the dancers danced. Millie's mother got tired early and mostly sat to one side with Millie cuddled on her lap. Millie's father came and stood next to them. Your mother says you took good care of her. How did you know to do those things? Millie shrugged. The shuffling of the dancers' feet sounded like birds' wings disappearing into the dark. I don't know, she said. I guess it's whiskey jack medicine. The next day, Millie woke early, checked the fish nets, fed the dogs, brought a load of firewood into the cabin, and then ran off to check her traps. The first 3 were empty. In the 4th, the rich dark fur of a marten. In the branches overhead, a plump gray bird sat, a small piece of fish hanging from its beak.
Thank you, Patrick Carroll, for telling us that story. 5 Short Tales by Patrick Carroll is available at the Mary Kaeser Library. So if you want to read more of his stories, you can. And now it's time to say goodbye, so we'll sing our goodbye song. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye. And before I forget, next Monday, the 27th of July, Storytime will be live outside at the park beside the arena. If it's raining, we'll go inside the arena, but if it's nice and sunny, we'll be outside. So bring your lawn chairs or a picnic blanket, bring lots of bug spray. And I'll see you next week outside in person. That'll be so fantastic. Bye. See you next week.